And we are live, I think. Yes, we are. Good evening. Tranonawa, gach dimigalair. Welcome, everyone. Fáilte. Tá céad míle fáilte agíomh na daoine go léir. You're very welcome to Live Irish Myths. This is episode number 42. Dachid is a doe. And today, thanks to a popular vote, we are going to be telling the first part, probably the first part of 3. I've been looking at the length of the story, and probably the first part of 3 episodes involving the exile of the Sons of Usineach, which is also, well, it's called many things, Deirdre and the Sons of Usineach. One of the 3 sorrows of Irish storytelling. Hope you're all keeping well and everybody's in good form and in good health during the current situation. It is ongoing, and people are still dying here. And while the numbers seem to be large, I think it was 49 people today. The numbers still seem great. They're not increasing exponentially at all, and the distancing, the social distancing and the partial lockdown here in Ireland seems to have done the trick in terms of preventing a huge wave. But we have to keep going for the time being. So in order to assuage us a little bit and to relax us and to distract us from all that, we're telling some stories. So today, before we start, I want to say thanks to Anastasia Shureva on pexels.com for the image of the lady who plays the part of Deirdre in today's graphic. And also, I wanted to say thanks to Simon Tute of Monumental Ireland for his help today. Thank you, Simon. I greatly appreciate it. On YouTube, The Stutterer says, one of the 3 sorrows of Era. Yes, indeed. Daisy Peters is ready to watch one more exciting episode. I think Daisy is in Rio de Janeiro or Sao Paulo. You're in Brazil. Hello, Daisy, The Stutterer. Jiaglich Conostatu. Greetings from Mexico. Tá mé go ma. Fáilte. Erica Rivertree. Banachty o Louisville, Kentucky. Hello, Erica. Nice to have you in the house, as always. Judith Nylan here, my good friend in Washington State, is also watching on YouTube. Welcome along, Judith. Fáilte. And Daisy says 3. Yes, 3, because it's quite a lengthy tale. I think it will take 3 episodes to get through it. And here on Facebook, to say hello to Jack Durkin, Giaglich. Stay safe, everyone, is right. Aaron Durrett, Giaglich. Vicky Wallace-Suddle is in Oregon. Fáilte, Vicky. Alex Casterton. Evening, Anthony Antua. How are we all tonight? Hope everybody is good. Josephine Meehan says, Goramahagut. Thank you, Josephine. Lovely to see you. Barbara Kling, Tranonawa, Os Vermont. Lovely to have the Vermontians in the house. Hi, Barbara. Nancy Nichols says, blessings, friends. Banachty. Steve Martinson. Hello, everyone. Be safe, healthy, and well, my extended family. Giaglich, Steve. Hi, friends from the lush and rainy temperate rainforest of the Pacific Northwest. And that's Aaron Durrett. Thanks, Aaron. Richard O'Neill. Tronowa. Richard. Good evening, Mythical Anthony. Hello, all. Big smiley face. Big smiley face. Right back to you, Richard. Carol Barrett. Hi, all. Happy Earth Day. Indeed. Happy Earth Day is right, Carol. Nick Eska Casterton, my favorite hour of the day. Hi, Anthony. Hello, Tua. Hope you're all well. Keeping great so far, Nick, and lovely to have you along. John McAndrew, hello from upstate New York, where it snowed again. Can you believe it's heading into the back end of April and it's still snowing in New York State. Michael Naylor says hello from Mike and Jeanette in Princeton. And you're very welcome, Mike and Jeanette. Lovely to see you. Mandy McCurl says hello from the Isle of Mull. Still sunny. Brilliant. We had a lovely sunny day today, and it's warmer than it has been the past few days. Less windy. Joan Rankin says hello from Cape Breton Island. Hello, Joan. Fabulous to see you. Freya Sjoholm, I hope I have that pronounced right, is saying a very good evening, Anthony, and all the lovely people here. Banachty from Sweden and Banachty, Freya. Donna Jean Porter says hi. Giaglich, Donna Rowan Grove. Hello all. Grey but warm in Colorado. Hope you're all well. Nick is saying hi, Jack. Adina Sparks, hello everyone from New Mexico, USA. Nice to have you in the house, Adina. Henry Paddy Shearman is watching. Jigwich. Theresa McGuinness, hello from North Florida, the other side of the Atlantic. Banachty. Mariana Dunn, happy Earth Day to all. Absolutely sunny day here in Alexandria, Virginia. A great day to be outside. Fantastic. Federica Guy, hello Anthony, hello Tua from Italy. Hope everyone is well. Ciao, Federica. Jack Durkin, hi, hope you are well. All in good form, it seems, Jack. Nice to have you in the house. Doris O'Hara says hello from a warm, sunny Heidelberg today. Hope everyone is well. Giagwich, Doris. Molly Michelle Kopeski is in Minnesota. It's beautiful and sunny today. I'm enjoying today's episode out on my deck. Wonderful stuff. Desiree Riley, hello Tua. It is a nice windy day here in Louisiana. Hope all are well. Can't wait for tonight's episode. Sean Verlo, hello from the great Pacific Northwest, Tacoma, Washington. And lovely to have you along, Sean. John Rogers says, hello, Anthony, from Alpha 65 land. Hi, John. John is in the United Arab Emirates. Hello, John. I hope you're keeping well. A local man living in the UAE. I hope it's nice and warm over there. I suspect it probably is. I don't think you get much snow there. Deborah Lauren Deneen, hello from Arizona, USA. Will these also be able to be viewed at a later time? Yes, indeed, Deborah. The video will be available afterwards on Facebook and on YouTube. David Gilroy is watching. Trononawa, David. Barbara Barney, hello. Anthony, hello, Barbara. Kelly Sewell is in Vermont. Hello, Kelly. Michelle McClory is in Toronto. Hello, Michelle. David Gilroy, Giagwich Anthony, yes, indeed. Thalia Brown, hello, everyone from Glastonbury. Enjoyed the warm sun today. Looking forward to hearing about Deirdre and the Sons of Usineach. Judy McQueen, hello from a rainy day. Oh, dear. Well, we can't have sun everywhere, but just let us have some here for a while. Alan Bryett, good evening from Rhode Island, Anthony. Fáilte, Alan. Maeve Fina Callahan, good mythical morning from Portland, Oregon, and good evening to you from the east coast of Ireland, Maeve, from Glan-na-Bonia. And it's not raining here, she says. Elisa Shields, lucky, loved living on Mull briefly in 2012. Okay, I think we're up to date. Oh, there's a few more on. Yes, Daisy Peters confirms that she's from Rio de Janeiro. Heard a shot, who's Tom King, says, oh, that was a lovely day. Look up and look forward. That's all we can do. Thank you, Anthony. Your contribution during these difficult times is hugely appreciated. Glad to know it, Tom. And Fáilte. Alistair Skarsgård says, hi, Anthony. Great to see you. You're very welcome, Alistair. Good evening to you. William King says hello from Arkansas. Everybody stay safe. Hi, William. Peter Brady, Trononawa Ostdura. Peter is in Brady and Giagwich, Peter. Jackie Stevenson says hello from Southern California. Thank you, Anthony, for your broadcasts. Really enjoying the series. Well, welcome along, Jackie. Pull up a pew, grab yourself a brew, or something stronger if you prefer. Sit by the fire and let's tell a few stories. Elizabeth Marks says hi from Vienna. Giagwich, Elizabeth. Lisa O'Hare says hello, everyone from Winchester in England. Hello, Lisa. Mary McLean is in Austin, Texas, watching again. So enjoy. Brilliant stuff. Excellent. So, by way of introduction to tonight, oh yes, as always, before we start, I have to mention and say thanks a million to all of the patrons of Mythical Ireland over at patreon.com/Mythical Ireland for their support of this live stream and indeed for their support of everything that we do here at Mythical Ireland. And when I say we, I say mostly me, because I watched a video during the past couple of days about the discoveries of 2018, and somebody in the video was describing Mythical Ireland as a group and kept saying they and they and they, not realizing that it's kind of like a one-man show. Deirdre Shepherd says hello from Hertfordshire. Hello, Deirdre. Tough Fáilte Rod. Ralph Waldron, hi from Athleague. The Garda Mounted Unit want a name from Irish mythology from their new horse. I saw a lot of suggestions on that, some very good ones too. Katrina says, hi, Gaelgore on Dowan or Law on Dowan. Which translated, I think, means hi, Irish speaker of the world on Earth Day. Very welcome. You're very welcome, Katrina. Hi, how are you? Liam Mahan says, hi, time flies. Here we are again. Looking forward to the episode. Indeed. So what time are we on? 9:40. Oh, we're going to do well to get started before the 10-minute mark. So After yesterday's episode, as promised, I said I would put the matter to a public vote, and the choice was between the destruction of Da Derga's hostel, Togal Brunne Da Derga, and the story of Deirdre and the Sons of Usineach. And guess what? Which one won? At the time I counted, it was 22 votes to 5 in favour of Deirdre. However, quite a number of people whose votes I didn't count were suggesting we read one first and then the other. So that's exactly what we'll do. Don't worry, I will be reading The Destruction of Da Derga's Hostel. I'm just not reading it at the moment because Deirdre won out. And the proper Irish name for this story is Longus mac n-Uislenn, which means the exile of the Sons of Usineach. It doesn't even have Deirdre in its title, but Deirdre is a principal character, of course, and she is known popularly as Deirdre of the Sorrows. Pamela Walter says, Banachty from the Netherlands. I've been looking forward to this. Fantastic, Pamela. Lovely to have you along this evening. My horse's name was Trooper Dunn, says Sarah Dennison, hopefully inspired by Dunn of the Milesians. No, that's not the right page, Anthony. That's The Destruction of Da Derga's Hostel. That's the one we're not reading tonight. The Exile of the Sons of Usineach is one of the best-known ancient Irish sagas. It is also one of the few stories of the Ulster cycle that have been preserved on the lips of the folk down to modern times. Now, bear in mind that I am reading from a publication from the 1930s. Versions composed as early as the 8th or 9th century exist in medieval manuscripts, and variants of the story are still to be heard in the remote country districts of Ireland and Scotland. Folk versions of the story have been especially popular in the Gaelic-speaking districts of Scotland, a fact perhaps due to the complementary references to Scotland in certain forms of the narrative. And we have to also read an introduction. Howdy, says Wela Dooley de de Villavicencio. Hello, Wela. You're very welcome along, and I wonder where you are in the world. Lovely to have you. Fáilte. Sky Brolachan is in the house. Giagich Sky. Patricia McAteer is watching from County Louth. Hello, Patricia. The Irish text of Deirdre's story, Longus mac n-Uislenn, The Exile of the Sons of Usineach, exists in many versions, including those in the 12th century Book of Leinster and the Yellow Book of Lecan, and is a prologue or forescale in Old Irish remscale of the epic Táin Bó Cúailnge, Cataraid of Cooley. The story remained popular in the oral traditions of later centuries in both Ireland and Scotland. Within the Ulster cycle, Deirdre is not simply tragic and beautiful, but is also a catalyst, an occasion of misfortune, bringing vengeance and misfortune on the nobility and warriors of the province. The many retellings of Deirdre's stories in Anglo-Irish literature in the 19th and 20th centuries have made her the best-known figure from Celtic mythology in the world at large. The etymology of Deirdre remains in doubt, despite persistent speculation. The common gloss troubler seems unsupportable. The name may only be a diminutive of der, D-E-R, daughter or girl, or D-E fada or dare, a tear. Eva Anderson says, good evening from Gothenburg, everybody. Fáilte, Eva. Welcome along. Pat Rowan is in the house. Fáilte, Pat. Lovely to see you. I was going to say Ihawa. Imagine what in your case. Hi from Mullingar, says Tanya Bulax. Hello, Tanya. Nice to have you along. Would you please say what book tonight? Thank you, says Yvette, who always wants to know what book I'm reading from. No, I'm not telling you. I cried, says D. Niglashine, who said, I cried when I was told this story in primary school because I don't like the title of Deirdre being sad. Ironic. Yeah, absolutely. Yvette, we're reading again from the good old reliable Lady Merhevna. Chapter 7 of Cuchulainn of Merhevna is the fate of the children of Uisneach. Is everybody ready? Take a deep breath. Eddie Driftwood says, Grew up beside Uisneach, magical place. You're not wrong about that, Eddie, and welcome along. Sharon Olson says hello from Caledon, Ontario, Canada. Fáilte, Sharon. Happy birthday, Tua, from NYC, says Wendy Holmes. Hello, Wendy. Good to have you in the Chach tonight, in the house. Hello, folks. A little late. Checking in from Redding, California, says Sharon Boggins Stitch. Better late than never, and we're only just starting the story. Highland Paddy around the turf fire now. Good man, Pat. Good stuff. Okay, let us begin. Yes, Lady Gregory, Complete Irish Mythology. Well, if you have them as separate books, this one is Cuchulainn of Muirthemne. You can probably read it online. Now it was one Phelimid, son of Dull, was harper to King Crohor, I've been calling him, which is, I think, the modern Irish pronunciation of Connor. But an alternative pronunciation, apparently, is Conchovar. King Crohor, and he had but one child, and this is the story of her birth. Coffa, that's Cathbad, Coffa the Druid was at Phelimid's house one day. Have you got knowledge of the future, said Phelimid. I have a little, said Coffa. Quite modest, isn't he? What is it you are wanting to know? I was not asking to know anything, said Phelimid. But if you know of anything that may be going to happen to me, it is as well for you to tell me. Brilliant. Shannon Winokur is in the house, thinking of our spectacular day with you at Uisneach, Anthony. Ah, lovely. Yes, it was a fabulous day. Beautiful weather too. Hi, Shannon. Good evening to you. Wayla says she's in Louisiana in the USA. Fáilte. And Patricia Langton is watching. Hello, Patricia. Nice to have you along. Vivian Weaver says, Happy Earth Day from Pennsylvania. Brilliant. Coffa went out of the house for a while, and when he came back, he said, Have you ever any children? I never had, said Phelimid. And the wife I have had none. And we have no hope ever to have any. There is no one with us, but only myself and my wife. That puts wonder on me, said Coffa, for I see by druid signs that it is on account of a daughter belonging to you that more blood will be shed than ever was shed in Ireland since time and race began. And great heroes and bright candles of the Gael will lose their lives because of her. Is that the foretelling you have made for me, said Phelimid. And there was anger on him, for he thought the druid was mocking him. If that is all you can say, you can keep it for yourself. It is little, I think, of your share of knowledge. For all that, said Coffa, I am certain of its truth, for I can see it all clearly in my own mind. The druid went away, but he was not long gone when Phelimid's wife was found to be with child. Surprise, surprise. And as her time went on, his vexation went on growing, that he had not asked more questions of Coffa. At the time he was talking to him, and he was under a smouldering care by day and night, for it is what he was thinking, that neither his own sense and understanding, or the share of friends he had, would be able to save him, or to make a back against the world, if this misfortune should come upon him. That would bring such great shedding of blood upon the earth. And it is the thought that came, that if this child should be born, what he had to do was to put her far away, where no eye would see her, and no ear would hear word of her. The time of the delivery of Phelimid's wife came on, and it was a girl child she gave birth to. Phelimid did not allow any living person to come to the house or to see his wife, but himself alone. Sounds like they were socially isolating or distancing. But just after the child was born, Coffa the Druid came in again. And there was shame on Phelimid when he saw him, and when he remembered how he would not believe his words. But the Druid looked at the child and said, Let Deirdre be her name. Harm will come through her. She will be fair, comely, bright-haired. Heroes will fight for her, and kings go seeking for her. And then he took the child in his arms, and it is what he said. O Deirdre, on whose account many shall weep, on whose account many women shall be envious. There will be trouble on Ulster for you sake. I presume that should be your sake. O fair daughter of Feilimid. Many will be jealous of your face, O flame of beauty. For your sake, heroes shall go to exile. For your sake, deeds of anger shall be done in Owen. There is harm in your face, for it will bring banishment and death on the sons of kings. Maeve says, I love the Gaelic grammar preserved in the story. Yeah, it's like a translation, and it is what he said, instead of this is what he said. In your fate, O beautiful child, are wounds and ill-doings and shedding of blood. You will have a little grave apart to yourself, and you will be a tale of wonder forever, Deirdre. Big God, the child's only been born, and this fella's speaking dark portents to her. I'd shoo him out of the house altogether. Cafa went away then. Good thing. And he sent Levercham, daughter of A, to the house, and Feilimid asked her, would she take the venture of bringing up the child far away where no eye would see her, and no ear hear of her? Levercham said she would do that, and that she would do her best to keep her the way he wished. So Feilimid got his men, and brought them away with him to a mountain, wide and waste, and there he bade them to make a little house by the side of a round green hillock, and to make a garden of apple trees behind it, and a wall about it. And he bade them put a roof of green sods over the house, the way a little company might live in it, without notice being taken of them. Then he sent Levercham and the child there, that no eye might see, and no ear hear of Deirdre. He put all in good order before them, and he gave them provisions. And he told Levercham that food and all she wanted would be sent from year to year as long as she lived. And so Deirdre and her foster mother lived in the lonely place among the hills, without the knowledge or the notice of any strange person, until Deirdre was 14 years of age. And Deirdre grew straight and clean like a rush on the bog, and she was comely beyond comparison of all the women in the world. And her movements were like the swan on the wave, or the deer on the hill. She was the young girl of the greatest beauty and of the gentlest nature of all the women of Ireland. So in other words, it sounds like she was a little bit of an Etain. Levercham, that had charge of her, used to be giving Deirdre every knowledge and skill that she had herself. There was not a blade of grass growing from root, or a bird singing in the wood, or a star shining from heaven, but Deirdre had the name of it. I love the fact that she was teaching her botany, ornithology, and astronomy. But there was one thing she would not have her know. She would not let her have friendship with any living person of the rest of the world outside their own house. But one dark night of winter, with black clouds overhead, a hunter came walking the hills, and it is what happened. He missed the track of the hunt and lost his way and his comrades. And a heaviness came upon him, and he lay down on the side of the green hillock by Deirdre's house. He was weak with hunger and going, and perished with cold, and a deep sleep came upon him. So in Ireland, we have this phrase, that you're perished with the cold. It doesn't mean you've actually died of cold, but it means, it's an exaggerated sense that you're perhaps going to die from the cold, Okay, people making comments, that's all very good. And a heaviness came, sorry, I said that bit, didn't I? While he was lying there, a dream came to the hunter, and he thought that he was near the warmth of a house of the Sidhe, and the Sidhe inside making music. And he called out in his dream, if there is anyone inside, let them bring me in the name of the sun and the moon. Deirdre heard the voice, and she said to Levercham, Mother, what is that? But Levercham said, it is nothing that matters. It is the birds of the air gone astray and trying to find one another. But let them go back to the branches of the wood. Another troubled dream came on the hunter, and he cried out a second time. "What is that?" asked Deirdre again. "It is nothing that matters," said Levercam. "The birds of the air are looking for one another. Let them go past to the branches of the wood." Then a third dream came to the hunter, and he cried out a third time, if there was anyone in the hill, to let him in for the sake of the elements, for he was perished with cold and overcome with hunger. "Oh, what is that?" Levercam said Deirdre. "There is nothing there for you to see, my child, but only the birds of the air. And they lost to one another. But let them go past us to the branches of the wood. There is no place or shelter for them here tonight." "Oh, mother," said Deirdre, "the bird asked to come in for the sake of the sun and moon, and it is what you yourself told me, that anything that is asked like that, it is right for us to give it. If you will not let in the bird that is perished with cold and overcome with hunger, I myself will let it in." So Deirdre rose up and drew the bolt from the leaf of the door and let in the hunter. She put a seat in the place for sitting, food in the place for eating, and drink in the place for drinking, for the man who had come into the house. I missed Martin Hughes. Martin Hughes is watching. Hello, Martin. Good to see you along. Tara, Paul in Hill of Tara says 3 times the banshee always knocks. 3, says Aaron, always the charm. "Come now and eat food, for you are in want of it," said Deirdre. "Indeed, it is I was in want of food and drink and warmth when I came into this house. But by my word, I have forgotten that since I saw yourself," said the hunter. "How little are you able to curb your tongue," said Levercam. "It is not a great thing for you to keep your tongue quiet. When you get the shelter of a house and the warmth of a hearth on a dark winter night." "That is so," said the hunter. "I may do that much to keep my mouth shut, but I swear by the oath my people swear by. If some others of the people of the world saw this great beauty that is hidden away here, they would not leave her long with you." "What people are those?" said Deirdre. "I will tell you that," said the hunter. "They are Naoise, son of Uisneach, and n-Uislenn and Ardon, his 2 brothers." "What is the appearance of these men, if we should ever see them?" said Deirdre. This is the appearance of these men. This is the appearance that is on those 3 men," said the hunter. "The colour of the raven is on their hair. Their skin is like the swan on the wave. Their cheeks like the blood of the speckled red calf. And their swiftness and their leap are like the salmon of the stream, and like the deer of the grey mountain. And the head and shoulders of Naoise are above all the other men of Ireland." "However they may be," said Levercam, "get you out from here and take another road, and by my word, little is my thankfulness to yourself, or to her that let you in." "You need not send him out for telling me that," said Deirdre. "For as to those 3 men, I myself saw them last night in a dream, and they hunting upon a hill." Surprise, surprise. Jay McHugh says, "Sorry, hi all, sorry I'm late, Jigrich, and you're welcome along, don't worry. Always welcome, whether late or not." "The hunter went away, but in a little time after, he began to think to himself how Crohor, High King of Ulster, was used to lie down at night and to rise up on the morning by himself, without a wife or anyone to speak to, and that if he could see this great beauty, it was likely he would bring her home to Owen, and that he himself would get the goodwill of the king for telling him there was such a queen to be found on the face of the world. So he went straight to King Crohor at Owenmacha, and he sent word in to the king that he had news for him if he would hear it. The king sent for him to come in. "What is the reason for your journey?" He said, "It is what I have to tell you," said the hunter, "that I have seen the greatest beauty that ever was born in Ireland, and I am come to tell you of it." "Who is this great beauty, and in what place is she to be seen, when she was never seen before you saw her, if you did see her?" She's a little bit mistrusting, I gather. "I did see her indeed," said the hunter, "but no other man can see her unless he knows from me the place where she is living." "Margaret Ring is in the house. Fáilte, Margaret. Hope you're keeping well. Will you bring me to the place where she is, and you will have a good reward," said the king. "I will bring you there," said the hunter. "Let you stay with my household tonight," said Crohor, "and I myself and my people will go with you early on the morning of tomorrow." "I will stay," said the hunter, and he stayed that night in the household of King Crohor. Anna Pittarina says, "Good evening, Anthony and everyone. Beautiful and so sad story so far. Sounds like Deirdre has been pushed to practice a self-isolation and cocooning for a while. Only plants, stars and birds being friends with her. Now we know her feeling. Hope it will change later in the story. Could not wait to hear the end." Long way to go, but hopefully you can stay with us, Anna. Then Crohor sent to Fergus and to the other chief men of Ulster, and he told them of what he was about to do. Though it was early when the songs and the music of the birds began in the woods, it was earlier yet when Crohor, king of Ulster, rose up with his little company of near friends in the fresh spring morning of the fresh and pleasant month of May. And the dew was heavy on every bush and flower as they went out towards the green hill where Deirdre was living. Tom Lawler is watching from County Tipperary. Fáilte, Tom. You're welcome. Welcome, Anthony. Catching up, says Margaret. No problem at all. Great stuff. "But many a young man of them that had a light, glad, leaping step when they set out, had but a tired, slow, failing step before the end, because of the length and the roughness of the way." "It is down there below," said the hunter. "In the house in that valley the woman is living. But I myself will not go nearer it than this." Crohor and his troop went down then to the green hillock where Deirdre was, and they knocked at the door of the house. Levercombe called out that neither answer nor opening would be given to any one at all, and that she did not want disturbance put on herself or her house. "Open," said Crohor, "in the name of the High King of Ulster." When Levercombe heard Crohor's voice, she knew that there was no use trying to keep Deirdre out of sight any longer, and she rose up in haste and let in the king, and as many of his people as could follow him. The social distancing has suddenly gone awry. When the king saw Deirdre before him, he thought in himself that he never saw in the course of the day or in the dreams of the night a creature so beautiful, and he gave her his full heart's weight of love there and then. It is what he did. He put Deirdre up on the shoulders of his men, and she herself and Levercombe were brought away to Owenmacha. With the love that Crohor had for Deirdre, he wanted to marry her with no delay. But when her leave was asked, she would not give it, for she was young yet, and she had no knowledge of the duties of a wife or the ways of a king's house. And when Crohor was pressing her hard, she asked him to give her a delay of a year and a day. He said he would give her that, though it was hard for him, if she would give him her certain promise to marry him at the year's end. She did that, and Crohor got a woman teacher for her, and nice, fine, pleasant, modest maidens to be with her at her lying down and at her rising up, to be companions to her. And Deirdre grew wise in the works of a young girl, and then in the understanding of a woman, and if anyone at all looked at her face, whatever colour she was before that, she would blush crimson red. And it is what Crohor thought, that he never saw with the eyes of his body a creature that pleased him so well. Louise Sherrill says, "Hello, Fáilte, Louise. Nice to have you along." Desiree makes a very good and funny point. You're kind of all or nothing to an Irish poet back in the days of old. Biggest and best, or most fair and beautiful, most poor and wretched. Nobody is ever average. Yes, indeed. Scale on shut. Katrina has a link to the story if you want to follow the text on screen. Good stuff. One day, Deirdre and her companions were out on a hill near Uisneach, looking around them in the pleasant sunshine, and they saw three men walking together. Deirdre was looking at the men and wondering at them. And when they came near, she remembered the talk of the hunter and the three men she saw in her dream, and she thought to herself that these were the three sons of Uisneach, and that this was Naoise, and that his head and shoulders above all the men of Ireland. That had his head and shoulders above all the men of Ireland. The three brothers went by without turning their eyes at all upon the young girls on the hillside, and they were singing as they went. And whoever heard the low singing of the sons of Uisneach, it was enchantment and music to them. And every cow that was being milked and heard it gave 2/3 more of milk. And it is what happened. That love for Naoise came into the heart of Deirdre, so that she could not but follow him. She gathered up her skirt and went after the three men that had gone past the foot of the hill, leaving her companions there after her. But Anya and Arden had heard talk of the young girl that was at Crohore's court, and it is what they thought, that if Naoise their brother would see her, it is for himself he would have her, for she was not yet married to the king. So when they saw Deirdre coming after them, they said to one another to hasten their steps, for they had a long road to travel, and the dusk of night coming on. And Katrina is helping us here with some information about Levercam. Levercam is an anglicization that robs the word of meaning. There is no V in Irish. Levercam from Lebha or Cham would be lower, buck, and cam, crooked in modern Irish, maybe referring to the lie Levercam told the king about Deirdre's beauty having faded. Interesting stuff, and thanks for that, Katrina. Always good to have your splendid knowledge on these storytellings. They did so, and Deirdre saw it, and she cried out after them, "Naoise, son of Uisneach, are you going to leave me?" What cry was that came to my ears, that it is not well for me to answer, and not easy for me to refuse, said Naoise. It was nothing but the cry of Crohore's wild ducks, said his brothers. But let us quicken our steps and hasten our feet, for we have a long road to travel, and the dusk of the evening coming on. They did so, and they were widening the distance between themselves and her. Then Deirdre cried, "Naoise, Naoise, son of Uisneach, are you going to leave me?" What cry was it that came to my ears and struck my heart, that it is not well for me to answer, or easy for me to refuse, said Naoise. Nothing but the cry of Crohore's wild geese, said his brothers. But let us quicken our steps and hasten our feet. The darkness of night is coming on. Doesn't this sound like a real fairy tale, doesn't it? You know? And Daddy Bear said, "Who's been sleeping in my bed?" You know? They did so, and were widening the distance between themselves and her. Then Deirdre cried the third time, "Naoise, Naoise, Naoise, son of Uisneach, are you going to leave me?" What sharp, clear cry was that, the sweetest that ever came to my ears, and the sharpest that ever struck my heart. Of all the cries I have ever heard, said Naoise. What is it but the scream of Crohore's lake swans, said his brothers. That was the third cry of some person beyond there, said Naoise. And I swear by my hand of valour, he said, I will go no further until I see where the cry comes from. So Naoise turned back and met Deirdre, and Deirdre and Naoise kissed one another 3 times, and she gave a kiss to each of his brothers. And with the confusion that was on her, a blaze of red fire came upon her, and her colour came and went as quickly as the aspen by the stream. And it is what n-Uislenn thought to himself, that he never saw a woman so beautiful in his life. And he gave Deirdre there and then the love that he never gave to living thing, to vision or to creature, but to herself alone. Then he lifted her high on his shoulder, and he said to his brothers to hasten their steps, and they hastened them. Harm will come of this, said the young men. Although there should harm come, said n-Uislenn, I am willing to be in disgrace while I live. We will go with her to another province, and there is not in Ireland a king who will not give us a welcome. So they called their people, and that night they set out with 3 times 50 men, and 3 times 50 women, and 3 times 50 greyhounds, and Deirdre in their midst. They were a long time, and see that 3 times 50 or thrice 50, this word that we keep encountering in different myths that doesn't seem to have a particular relevance beyond just indicating a large number. They were a long time after that, shifting from one place to another all around Ireland, from Esro in the south to Ben Ether northeast again. And of course, Ben Ether we encountered previously as the old name of Howth, the Howth Head overlooking Dublin Bay. And it is often they were in danger of being destroyed by Crothor's devices. And one time the Druids raised a wood before them, but n-Uislenn and his brothers cut their way through it. But at last they got out of Ulster and sailed to the country of Alban and settled in a lonely place. And when hunting on the mountains failed them, they fell upon the cattle of the men of Alban, so that these gathered together to make an end of them. But the sons of Uisneach called to the king of Scotland, and he took them into his friendship, and they gave him their help when he went out into battles or to war. Deirdre McSweeney Kelly says, loving hearing about my name. Good evening, Fáilte, Deirdre. Very nice to have somebody called Deirdre listening to the story of Deirdre and the Sons of Usineach, or the Exile of the Sons of Usineach. You're very welcome, and I hope you're keeping well. But all this time, they had never spoken to the king of Deirdre, and they kept her with themselves, not to let anyone see her, for they were afraid they might get their death on account of her, she being so beautiful. But it chanced very early one morning, the king's steward came to visit them, and he found his way into the house where n-Uislenn and Deirdre were, and there he saw them asleep beside one another. He went back then to the king, and he said, Up to this time there has never been found a woman that would be a fitting wife for you. But there is a woman on the shore of Loch Ness now, is well worthy of you, King of the East. Interesting. Loch Ness. Same place as the monster apparently lives in. And what you have to do is make an end of n-Uislenn, for it is of his wife I am speaking. I will not do that, said the king. But go to her, he said, and bid her to come and see me secretly. The steward brought her that message, but Deirdre sent him away, and all that he had said to her, she told it to n-Uislenn afterwards. Then, when she would not come to him, the king sent the sons of Uisneach into every hard fight, hoping they would get their death. But they won every battle and came back safe again. And after a while, they went to Loch Echthe, E-I-T-C-H-E, Loch Echthe, near the sea, and they were left to themselves there for a while in peace and quietness. And they settled and made a dwelling house for themselves by the side of Loch Ness. And they could kill the salmon of the stream from out their own door, and the deer of the grey hills from out their window. But when n-Uislenn went to the court of the king, His clothes were splendid among the great men of the army of Scotland. A cloak of bright purple, rightly shaped, with a fringe of bright gold, a coat of satin with 50 hooks of silver, a brooch on which there were 100 polished gems, a gold-hilted sword in his hand, 2 blue-green spears of bright points, a dagger with the colour of yellow gold on it, and a hilt of silver. But the 2 children they had, Gair and Uisneach, they gave into the care of Manannán, son of the sea. And he cared them well in Awan of the apple trees, that's Awan Aulach, and he brought Bobarus the poet to give learning to Gair. And Uisneach of the sunny face he gave in marriage afterwards to Rin, son of Uisneach of the land of promise. Interesting. So far. Julianne Osborne is watching. Hello, Julianne. Fáilte. Good to see you. Mello Nello says, I've always wondered who Cathach, you mean Cafa, the druid. An Irish Merlin, perhaps. Yeah, interesting. Let me have a quick look in McKillop for anything about Cafa. Copbad, as we might call him. Cafa. Not there. Disappointing. Was he mentioned in the section about druids? I know we read that out one night. Don't see him there. Yeah, Cathach might maybe pertain to a battle. It's C-A, hang on, I just get the exact right spelling of it from Carson's time. C-A-T-H-B-A-D. So it still may relate to battle. Chief Druid. This is Wikipedia, so I'm not sure about its reliability. Chief Druid in the court of King Crohor mac Nessa in this Ulster cycle. He features in both accounts of Crohor's death. Does it give anything about his nomenclature? No. I'd like to know more about his name. Perhaps Katrina will be able to dig that out for us. No pressure, Katrina. You're usually very good at these things. Deirdre says, thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. The only others that get it right are my family. Yeah. Yes, I can imagine what that's like, all right. Laura McCormick says, hello from County Tip. I am catching up with your broadcasts, absolutely loving them. You are the new bard retelling ancient stories. Lovely, Laura. Fáilte. Lovely to have you along, and thanks for joining in and for the nice comments. Who are the 2 children's parents? Let's just rewind for a moment, shall we? So Naoise went to the court of the king in splendid clothes. Yeah, I don't know whose children are they, but the 2 children they had, Gair, G-A-I-A-R, and Uisneach, A-E-B-G-R-E-I-N-E, they gave into the care of Manannán, son of the sea. Yeah, the children have just suddenly arisen in the story without previous mention. Didn't say that Deirdre and Naoise had children, did it, previously? Did I miss that? Strange, isn't it? Interesting question, Yvette. Who are the children's parents is right. Yeah. Sorry, I know I'm getting distracted because I'm looking for G-A-I-A-R. G-A-I-A-R. And Uisneach. Okay. Yes. So apparently they are Naoise and Deirdre's children. Gair is the son and Aibgréine is the daughter. And according to Wikipedia, some versions of the story mention that they had children. So, Yvette says it's a rabbit hole, but you were right to ask, because it just suddenly says, but the two children they had. And this is when Naoise has gone to the court of the king. It just says, So they gave the children into the care of Manannán, son of the sea, and he cared them well in Owen of the apple trees, and he brought Bobaris, Bobaris, the poet, to give learning to Gair. And Aibgréine of the sunny face he gave in marriage afterwards to Rin, son of Yuki, Juil, Juil, of the land of promise. Very interesting, isn't it, the way there's such a remarkable difference in the treatment of the men and the women. The women are to be hidden away and to be traded off as brides. In this case, the son is given to a poet to be taught or to be educated, while the daughter is given away in marriage. Funny the way things change. So Katrina says, Koffa, probably from battle tent, based on the variation Kofva, Cathbhoth, genitive Koffoha. This surname has a geographical match. Awa on Goffa, near Nina in County Tipperary. Fantastic. Brilliant. Yes, Anna says, I understood that, children of Deirdre. I didn't actually immediately know. Now it happened after a time that a very great feast was made by Crohor in Owen Macha for all the great among his nobles, so that the whole company were easy and pleasant together. The musicians stood up to play their songs and to give poems, and they gave out the branches of relationship and of kindred. These are the names of the poets who were in Owen at the time: Koffa the Druid, son of Connell, son of Ruairi, and Gyanon of the Bright Face, son of Koffa, and Ferkertne, and Gyanon Blackney, and many others, and Shenka, son of Ailil. Blackney, so like the opposite of Auragin Brightney. They were all drinking and making merry until Crohor the king raised his voice and spoke aloud. And it is what he said. I desire to know from you, did you ever see a better house than this house of Owen, or a hearth better than my hearth in any place you were ever in? We did not, they said. If that is so, said Crohor, do you know of anything at all that is wanting to you? We know of nothing, they said. That is not so with me, said Crohor. I know of a great want that is on you, the want of the 3 best candles of the Gael, the 3 noble sons of Uisneach, that ought not to be away from us for the sake of any woman in the world, Naoise, Ainle, and Arden, for surely they are the sons of a king, and they would defend the high kingship against the best men of Ireland. Ni is gloon, but it also means generation, says Katrina. Interesting stuff. Black generation? Would that make Amergin Brightney Auragin of the bright generation? Interesting. Very interesting, actually. The bright generation, which was to seed the kings, and the beginning of the reign of the great kings of Tara, allegedly. If we had dared, said they, it is long ago we would have said it, and more than that, the province of Ulster would be equal to any other province of Ireland, if there was no Ulsterman in it but those 3 alone, for it is lions they are in hardness and in bravery. If that is so, said Crohor, let us send word by messenger to Alban and to the dwelling place of the Sons of Usineach to ask them back again. Who will go there with the message? Said they all. I cannot know that, said Crohor, for there is Gyasa, that is bonds, on Naoise, not to come back with any man, only one of the 3, Connell, Ciarnach, or Fergus, or Cuchulainn, and I will not know now. pardon me, said he, which one of those three loves me best? Then he called Conall to one side and he asked him, what would you do with me if I should send you for the sons of Uisneach, and if they were destroyed through me, a thing I do not mean to do? As I am not going to undertake it, said Conall, I will say that it is not one alone I would kill, but any Ulsterman I would lay hold of that had harmed them would get shortening of life from me and the sorrow of death. I see well, said Crohor, you are no friend of mine, and he put Conall away from him. And I think that I'm just going to do a recce now on the how far we are into the tale. Sorry about this. Just realized I shouldn't be licking my lips. Yeah, we'll just finish this page and then we'll be done for this episode. Then he called Cuchulainn to him and asked him the same as he did the other. I give my word, as I am not going, said Cuchulainn, if you want that of me, and that you think to kill them when they come, it is not one person alone that would die for it, but every Ulsterman I could lay hold of would get shortening of life from me and the sorrow of death. I see well, said Grohor, that you are no friend of mine, and I see a familiar refrain here. And he put Cuchulainn from him. And then he called Fergus to him and asked him the same question. And Fergus said, whatever may happen, I promise your blood will be safe from me. But besides yourself, there is no Ulsterman that would try to harm them, and that I would lay hold of, but I would give him shortening of life and the sorrow of death. I see well, said Crohor. It is yourself must go for them, and it is tomorrow you must set out. For it is with you they will come, and when you are coming back to us westward, I put you under bonds to go first to the fort of Borach, son of Conche, and give me your word now that as soon as you get there, you will send on the sons of Uisneach to Owen, whether it be day or night, at the time. After that, the two of them went in together, and Fergus told the company how it was, under his charge, they were to be put. And so there we leave it for this evening, because it's too long to split into two sections, because it would kind of take an hour and a half for each. So it's best to split it into three sections of about an hour each so that nobody's going to fall asleep. Katrina says, would get shortening of life from me. A wee understatement there. Yeah, would be murdered. Yeah, would be killed. Great choice for a story too. Absolutely loving it, says Nick. Makes so much more sense in the context than knee, as in the joint in a leg. Oh, sorry, what did I miss? On Creoch. Gin is from whence it comes, the source of like the dreaded Tuishal Ginajak. Yeah, we did say that, didn't we, before? That it has been suggested our Gin means birth of song, or where song comes from. Him being the first poet, the first bard of the Milesians. Allegedly the first bard in Ireland, but of course the Daedanans had bards before the Milesians arrived. Kendall says, I'm late, but hello from the Oregon coast. Very welcome, Fáilte, Kendall. Better late than ever. And in any case, you can catch up by watching the video. Tina Trana says, much love. Been listening to all the archived recordings. Thanks so much for doing these videos. Well, it's my great pleasure, Tina, and it's lovely to have you along. Irish Technical Thinker. Damn, just got here. What did I miss? You missed 1/3 of the story of the exile of the Sons of Usineach. You can catch up on video. We'll be telling part 2 tomorrow night and part 3 the following evening. So hopefully you can stay with us. And on Facebook, Susan Bain Williams says, happy Earth Day. Another great broadcast, Anthony. Thank you, Susan. And I'm very glad that you enjoyed yourself. Katrina says, Owen brings us back to mysterious islands. Owen, Aulach. Also, Emne, Middle Irish Evan Aulach, or Auna, meaning Owen of the Apples, is a mythical island paradise in Irish mythology. It is often regarded as the realm of the sea god Manannán mac Lir, which we did mention, yes, indeed, in our episode about Manannán, and identified with either the Isle of Man or the Isle of Arran. According to the medieval Irish poem, Baile Suhan Shi Auna, the god Lula Fodder was reared in Owen Aulach. In another poem from the 14th century, Owen Aulach is described as being filled with swans and ewes. Lovely. Lisa O'Hare says, thank you. You're very welcome. Deirdre McSweeney Kelly says, thank you so much. No problem. Ooh, cliffhanger, says Aaron Dredd. Absolutely. You have to do the old home and away effort on it. Shortening of life and also death even. Yeah, okay. Everybody's enjoying the story so far, which is good. Alex says, yep, it's a long story, this one, but great. Good call, guys. Also, thanks, Anthony, for your time to read it. Always very glad to do so. No problem, Alex. Anna Pittarina, thank you for the choice. Very intriguing story. And where does it go next? Don't spoil it for yourselves. Come back tomorrow evening. And the place where many children are fostered by Manannán. So lovely, says Erin. Rowan Grove, no danger of falling asleep, even for those of us familiar with the story. Good stuff, Rowan. Mellow Nello, yeah, really love this one. Good stuff. Jim Conway, there is a place in County Antrim where the son of the Earl of Kilolta was murdered. What's it called, Jim? I wonder, does it have an interesting name pertaining to the story? Thalia Brown says, thank you. Goramahagut, and you're very welcome. Kelly Sewell, well told story, thank you. Rich in name and place. Neil says, perhaps his life was shortened. The story is certainly shortened for now. Elizabeth Mark says, thanks, Fáilte. Margaret Ring, EastEnders. Yeah, all we need is music. And find out what happens tomorrow at the same time, you know. Anyway, it's very good of you all to drop in. And where does the time go? It flies around, doesn't it? It really does, you know. It's been great. So we'll continue tomorrow. I think the best to continue it rather than splitting it, rather than putting out something else in between. We'll read part 2 tomorrow, and then we'll conclude on Friday with the rest of the story. So thanks a million for watching. And as always, don't forget to spread the word. Tell your friends to join in. And, of course, I've forgotten to post in, as I regularly do, the link where you can see all of the videos embedded into one single web page. In case you want to. Now, you don't play them all together. You'll have a room full of chattering Anthony's. Last night we had ridiculous o'clock. We had some of the Australians in last night, and it was like 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning there. They've obviously it's a one night thing only for some of the Western Australians, because you can't get up at 3 o'clock every morning to listen to Anthony, you know. It's okay for those of you in the States who are in the middle of your day or even late morning, you know. Anyway, see us all tomorrow night. Hope everybody is stay safe, stay well, keep washing your hands, keep the social distancing up, keep people at a 2 meter distance. Wear a face mask if you have one, and come back to us tomorrow. Barbara says, Goramahagat, Ihoa, love this story. Thanks, Barbara. See you again tomorrow evening. Judy McQueen says, thank you again, Fáilte. Jack Rowan says, Pat Rowan even, a good day or night to you all. Sharon Boggins Stitch, looking forward to the rest of the story tomorrow. Until tomorrow, friends, says Aaron Dredd. Thank you, Anthony. Anthony, says Margaret. Alex Casterton, Iowa, Anthony and I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good sound effects. Iowa August Kolosov Agina Uisle. Which I think, if I could translate that, Katrina, good night and sound sleep. Noble people. Noble Uisle. Night, everyone. Lovely, says Margaret. Patrick is waving. Pat Rowan is waving. Patricia McDear, love this story. Look forward to part 2. Brilliant. Neil says, thank you. You deserve a wee drama after this. Do you know what? I think I might. I could be tempted. Good night anyway, and take it easy all. Biggie Sloan. No haste let on var oroshta sa chok bon. I'm not going to try to translate. I think I know what that's about. Dora Sahara, thank you again. Good night. Is it 8 p.m.? Yes, 8 p.m. tomorrow night. Same time, Kate. See you then. Shinne. Slán go fóil ó cáirde go léir. And YouTubers, slán go fóil tusa féin.